Milk Minute!
Good day, resilient, flexible, and receptive passengers of biyaheng Radyo Eskwela sa Isabela. I hope that everyone is well and safe as we continue our rally towards educalidad amidst pandemic. I am your Milk Minute pilot today, and I am so glad to have been given the chance to fly with you to present quickly my understanding and insight about academic writing. The ways we write are influenced by our purpose. We write differently when communicating with our friends, reporting on events, telling stories. In school, the type of rating that students will be expected to produce in their assessment task is classified as academic writing. Hence, this form of writing is one of the most essential competencies that learners need to develop. Academic writing has been part of your life for the longest time. Your teachers, especially your language teachers, spend countless hours imparting knowledge to you concerning the ability to write academically because they know the benefits that come with it. Foremost, academic writing allows learners to convey their understanding about an academic topic and to develop analytical thinking as evidenced by the processes and skills that have been undergone and enhanced in coming up with the laboratory reports, scientific experiments, and research projects. In my context as a school head, it is equally important to learn about the features of academic writing presented in research, narrative reports, and business letters because this is also one of the indicative elements of my function as captured in various key result areas along Office Performance, Commitment, and Review Form or OPCRF. May I take for instance my KRA number 1, which is leading strategically. School Improvement Plan, School Monitoring, Evaluation, and Adjustment Reports, and Program Implementation Review Reports, Research, Projects, Innovations, and Continuous Improvement Projects are the major documents that should be evident. All of these artifacts entail compliance to academic writing. This is simply for the reasons that chronological presentation and clarity of purpose must be manifested. If so, then authentic and evidence-based documents become the offshoot of any plan, project, program, or activity. Since school success is a team effort, implementing any project in the school requires everyone to be a team player. As a school head, I see all teachers as functional members of the team. I empower them along academic writing by simply involving them. If they are a team in charge for a specific program, then I simply facilitate them in coming up with their quality narrative report. Another way by which I empower them this time of pandemic is engaging them to come up with their video lessons, which we dub as video turo. In here, the first thing that have to do is to come up with their video turo scripts and PowerPoint presentations. And the last, but certainly not the least, all teachers in our school are encouraged to come up with a research innovation project and strategic intervention material or SIM. In these ways, teachers too are being honed along academic writing. With that, I say thank you for listening. Let us sustain our resiliency, flexibility, and receptiveness so that our rally towards quality education will be welcomed and embraced with colorful confetti. We bounce back together. We recover as one. Sa SDO Isabela, walang mag-aaral, guro, punong guro, at eskwelahan na maiiwan. Thank you very much.
Your communication hub and literary arts center of SDO Isabela. SDO English Academy.
An analogy describes the relationship between words. Subject, verb, or teacher.
One and English Academy.
grade 7 students! I hope you are all prepared for a wonderful learning experience we will be having today as we start the last quarter of the school year 2020-2021 with positive energy. Wow! Welcome to another on-air session with English Academy, your communication hub and literary arts center in Radyo Eskwela sa Isabela. Like me, I know you are excited to enrich your knowledge and skills in your academic journey. Now, if you're ready to listen and participate with the activities about our lesson for today, shout, yay! Hooray! I like that energy, students. With your enthusiasm, I believe you are now all set for today's discussion. I am your teacher for today, April Joyce L. Castueras. Make sure that you are on the most comfortable place at home to stay while listening. Prepare your notebook or paper and a ball pen and a glass of water to endure today's hot weather. I am also excited to be with you today and to share about the features of academic writing. Let's begin. First, we will have an activity called Make a Face. Draw a smiley face on your papers if you think the item that I will mention is an example of an academic writing, and a sad face if it is not an example of an academic writing. Are you ready? Yes! Let's start. The first item is novel. Is novel an example of an academic writing or not? Go! The answer is a sad face. Because a novel is not an example of academic writing, because it is a long story that is divided into chapters. Also, novels are mostly fictional, right? Did you get the right answer? Yes! Bravo! Let's proceed then. The second item is poem. Do you consider poem as an example of academic writing? The answer is a sad face. Because a poem is not an example of academic writing, but a composition that uses high language and imagination. Did you get the right answer? Yes! I know you do. How about the next one? The third item is business report. Is it an example of an academic writing or not? Go! The correct answer is a smiley face. Because a business report is an example of academic writing. Wow, you all got it right. For the fourth item, we have a news article. Is news article an example of an academic writing? Go! The correct answer is a smiley face. Because a news article is an example of academic writing, telling current and important events. Did you get the right one? Yes! Nice job! For the fifth item, we have a research paper. Is it an example of an academic writing or not? Go! The correct answer is a smiley face. Because a research paper is an example of academic writing, mostly about educational development. Did you get all the right answers? Yay! Good job, grade 7. I hope this activity helped you distinguish the features of academic writing compared to non-academic type of writing. Are you now ready to listen to our topic? Yay! Great! I'm sure that all of you had already read examples of the 3 academic writings included in the activity earlier. Again, what are those 3 examples mentioned? That's right, we have reports, news article, and research paper. These are only few of the many examples of academic writing. By the way, academic writing is a formal style of writing. Its general purpose is to present information in order to display a clear understanding of a particular subject. It is a clear, more formal, concise, focused, structured, and backed up by evidence type of writing. Will you give other examples of academic writing aside from reports, news article, and research paper? Nice! Other examples of academic writing are textbooks, abstract reports, conference papers, and journals. In order to distinguish an academic writing from other types of writing, it has its own features or properties. Listen as we discuss each of them. The first feature of academic writing is formality. This is where we use formal language rather than everyday common language. This feature is achieved through these 4 tips. First, we should choose expanded forms over contracted forms. Instead of using contracted word forms like can't, don't, won't, and I've, we can use cannot, do not, will not, and I have. Taking in mind the first consideration to achieve formality in academic writing, will you rewrite this sentence correctly? The policy doesn't permit illegal dealings. Correct. The sentence should be the policy does not permit illegal dealings because we should choose expanded forms over contracted forms to achieve formality. The second point is choosing one verb form over 2-word verbs. Instead of using the 2-word verb mess up, we better think of 1-word verb synonymous to it. We can choose damage or destroy. Another example is give back. We can instead use return, which has the same meaning with give back. This time, taking in mind the second point to achieve formality in academic writing, will you rewrite this sentence correctly? The business sectors brought up the questions of excluding tax payment from the dialogue. That's right. The sentence can be the business sectors raised the questions of excluding tax payment from the dialogue because we should choose one verb form raised over 2-word verbs brought up. You can also choose other 1-word verbs as long as it is synonymous to the verb used. The third consideration to attain formality in academic writing is avoiding colloquial, trite, or idiomatic expressions. These words or expressions are considered less formal. That's why these should be avoided in academic writing. One example of an idiomatic expression is, "It's raining cats and dogs," which means experiencing a strong storm with heavy rain and wind. Let us use it in a sentence. It's raining cats and dogs when the monsoon comes in the Philippine area of responsibility. Will you try to rewrite this sentence considering the third consideration under formality? Precisely. The sentence can be, "We are experiencing strong winds and heavy rains because of the monsoon approaching the Philippine area of responsibility." Because we should avoid using idiomatic expression to attain formality in academic writing. The fourth one to remember to achieve formality as a feature of academic writing is choosing expanded terms over their abbreviated equivalents. I know that we are fond of using these kinds of expressions like ATM, GOAT, rom-com, prof, and other abbreviations. Instead of abbreviated forms, we should use their expanded forms like at the moment, greatest of all time, romantic comedy, professor, and likes. Considering this idea for us to attain formality in academic writing, will you try to rewrite the sentence, "The government wants it done ASAP"? Correct. The sentence should be, "The government wants it done as soon as possible," because we should choose expanded terms over their abbreviated equivalents. Did you get it, learners? Good job! This time, we proceed to the second feature of academic writing, which is objectivity. This means that the writing must be impersonal. The main emphasis should be on the presented information and/or arguments rather than what you think about the issue. Here are another set of considerations in order to achieve objectivity. First is avoiding the use of personal pronouns such as you, I, and we. As in the sentence, you can easily forget how different life was 50 years ago. We can rewrite this as, "It is easy to forget how different life was 50 years ago." In this way, we can refrain from including our personal ideas or issues on the topic. Let's study the sentence. We need to conduct the experiment. Considering the first point to remember, will you make this statement objective? It can be, "The researchers need to conduct the experiment because we should avoid the use of personal pronouns like we." The next consideration to achieve objectivity in academic writing is avoiding rhetorical questions. These are questions that are asked in order to create a dramatic effect or to make a point. They do not intend to be answered directly, rather, they are used as persuasive device to shape the way a reader thinks about a certain topic. Instead of asking the question, "How can these problems be solved?" we can write, "Certain measures must be discovered to solve problems." Will you study the statement, "It's too hot today, isn't it?" and make it objective considering the second point to remember? The answer to this question is already obvious, but only aims to convince the reader to agree with the issue or topic. The statement can be, "The weather today is hot." Third and last consideration to attain objectivity in academic writing is avoiding emotive language that shows biases. This is done when certain word choices are made to evoke an emotional response and not to communicate a fact. The sentence, "The investigators were very shocked to see the outcome of the tests," uses emotive language because it evokes emotional response from the readers. At the same time, it shows biases because of the phrase "were very shocked," referring to the reaction of the investigators. Instead of this, we can make it objective by writing, "The investigators did not expect the result." How about the sentence, "The defenseless victims were attacked in the cover of night"? Will you make it objective, bearing in mind the last point to consider for us to achieve objectivity? That's right. The statement can be, "The victims were attacked at midnight." In this case, the statement is there solely to communicate a fact and not to get emotional response from the readers. You have nice sentences. I believe you can write more objective sentences as we go over our tasks. Wow! And now we are down to the third feature of academic writing, which is explicitness. It is the responsibility of the writer to make the text clear and easier to understand how the various parts of the text are related with one another. This feature has 2 points to remember so that we can attain explicitness in academic writing. First is using different signaling words when presenting ideas. Just like in presenting comparison of similar ideas, we oftentimes use the signal words like similarly, in the same way, likewise, and just as, while in showing contrast of opposite ideas we may use the signal words but, however, on the contrary, although, among others. We may also include the cause and effect relationship of ideas and use the signal words consequently, as a result, because, since, and the like. Let's take the sample sentences. One should notify any change of address to the bonds and stocks office. Similarly, savings certificates should be re-registered with the post office. What signal word is used? You're right. It is similarly, and it is used to show comparison of similar ideas. The second and last point to remember under explicitness is citing or acknowledging sources of ideas. This is done to give proper credit to the authors of the ideas that you incorporated in your work, to allow the readers to locate your sources and to help you avoid committing plagiarism, which is an act of stealing one's words or ideas. Basically, a citation may include all or just a few of these: author's last name, title of article, place of publication, date of publication, and the page number, while a web source may be cited by the Uniform Source Locator or URL. An example of this is, suicide is a serious public health issue. Open parenthesis, Mann et al. 2005, close parenthesis. On the given sample of citation, what are the details included about the writer's source of ideas? The authors and the year of publication were indicated in the citation. Finally, we are on the last feature of academic writing, and that is caution. It is an important feature of academic writing for the readers to distinguish between facts and claims among the ideas presented. This is often called hedging or vague language, or the usage of linguistic devices to express hesitation or uncertainty, as well as to demonstrate politeness and indirectness. Caution is needed to avoid sweeping generalizations. This feature is achieved through using devices such as modal verbs like would, may, can, might, should, and the like. Also with the use of adverbs like often, sometimes, usually, and the like. And also by using verbs like tend, suggest, think, believe, doubt, and many more. Here is an example of a sentence that fails to observe caution as a feature of academic writing. The commitment to some of the social and economic concepts was less strong than it is now. To improve this sentence, we can transform it to, it may be said that the commitment to some of the social and economic concepts was less strong than it is now. What is being added in the sentence in order to achieve caution? That's correct. The modal may was added to observe caution in the sentence. This time, let us check your understanding on the features of academic writing through the activity called Watch Out. Number your paper from 1 to 5. You are going to watch out if the statements I will mention are correct by writing a check mark and cross mark if it is not. Are you ready, dear learners? Yes! Let's start. For number 1, you should properly cite the sources you use to achieve explicitness. I will repeat, you should properly cite the sources you use to achieve explicitness. The answer is a check mark, because a writer should cite sources properly to avoid plagiarism. Number 2, you should avoid using different signaling words. Again, you should avoid using different signaling words. The answer is cross mark, because that is incorrect. A writer should use signaling words to achieve explicitness. Number 3. You should use slang words like wanna, gonna, and fab. I will repeat. You should use slang words like wanna, gonna, and fab. The correct answer is a cross mark. A writer should avoid using colloquial language to attain formality in writing. Number 4. You should avoid emotive language that shows biases. Again, you should avoid emotive language that shows biases. The answer is a check mark. Because it is correct to avoid emotive language that shows biases in order to achieve objectivity in writing. Number 5. You should place the main emphasis on the information. Again, you should place the main emphasis on the information. The answer is a check mark. Because the general purpose of academic writing is to present information. Did you get a perfect score? Then let's clap all together. You did a great job. I hope you have enjoyed listening to and answering tasks on the different features of academic writing. I hope you learned a lot of foundation as you write your own ideas in our succeeding lessons. For additional tasks, don't forget to answer the rest of the activities on your modules. Read directions carefully and answer what is asked. If you have queries and concerns, please do not hesitate to ask your English teacher. Till next time, my dear students, on behalf of Miss Rolly Ann E. Badwa, our script writer, and the SDO Isabela RBI production team, this is your radio teacher, April Joyce L. Castueras, greeting you all a good day.
Patuloy ang edukasyon para sa ating henerasyon.
Sa daan ng pagkatuto ay walang may iwan.
Kaya halina sa Radyo Eskwela!